If you find yourself tossing and turning, we've all been there at night, you may want to think back to what you had as a snack before you went to bed. Certain foods, certain beverages consumed too close to bedtime can make it less likely you're going to get a good night's rest. Here to point us in the right direction is registered dietitian Vincci Tsui. Thanks for coming in. In front of us are the do's, but before we get to that, let's talk about the don'ts. Okay. What should you not eat close to bedtime?
Well, an obvious one is caffeine.
Yeah, anything with caffeine, right?
Right. Most people, you know, have caffeine to wake up, so obviously you don't want to have that before going to bed. And there's obvious stuff like coffee and tea to avoid, but some people forget that some pops or chocolate do have some caffeine in it as well.
Even Diet Colas have caffeine, but there's no calories, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Well, it depends. There's some
sure.
don't have caffeine.
Okay, another thing too is, well, I didn't think of this, but high protein stuff, right? Now, how does that kind of work?
Well, high protein and high fat foods, they tend to be pretty heavy. They take longer to digest. So if you're going to bed and it's still sort of sitting there in your stomach, then you'll probably be kind of uncomfortable. And people with heartburn too, if their stomach is still trying to digest this food, if they're leaning back, all the acid is coming up. So heartburn can be an issue as well. Okay, and everyone on staff here loves to have a glass of wine once in a while. Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because even, you know, the old days, let's go for a nightcap type thing, right?
Yeah, so that is a very common thing, but there was a study that was published earlier this year, and they said that even though the nightcap helps you fall asleep and stay asleep in the first half of the night, later on in the night it actually disrupts your sleep. It disrupts that REM sleep, the deepest sleep state where you're dreaming and doing all your learning and stuff like that. So it actually disrupts your sleep later in the night, so it's not as restful of a sleep.
Okay, those are the don'ts, the do-nots. These are the do's. Let's start at this end of the table. And what do you have for us here?
I've just got some cereal. So a lot of the times I hear people say cereal's not very filling, you know, so it doesn't make a very good breakfast food, but for nighttime it's perfect. And you want to choose carbohydrate-rich foods at night, not only because they're easier to digest, but also because carbohydrates help our body produce serotonin, that feel-good hormone, so it actually helps us relax.
So you want us to eat carbs at night? Okay.
Yes, but there is a bit of milk there, so the protein in the milk helps you slow down the digestion just a little bit, so it keeps your blood sugars from spiking in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. Okay, and next up is something that I ate as a kid quite often, the old peanut butter celery trick here. What else? Is that just a regular apple, or?
Yeah, it's just a regular apple. So I think snacks are a good opportunity to eat the things that you're missing out on during the day. A lot of times people forget or just don't eat enough vegetables and fruit. Your vegetables are only at supper time, that kind of idea. So maybe having some vegetables and fruit, and some people find that, you know, just some vegetables and fruit not enough. Adding a bit of protein through the peanut butter, or if you had some cheese, like a slice of cheddar with the apple, that will fill you up just a little more so that you feel full and, you know, ready to go to bed.
And again, of course, there's more carbs in that too for the serotonin that you're talking about. And over here is just some crackers and hummus.
Yeah, just crackers and hummus, and same idea, you know, the crackers provide the carbohydrates. Their hummus, I think a lot of people think, you know, hummus is very high in protein because it's made with chickpeas, but since there's so many added extras in there, it's actually a lower protein, relatively low in protein. So again, just something to kind of fill you up a little more and keep you more satisfied instead of just having a handful of crackers if that just doesn't feel quite enough.
So the bad thing to do is if you've gone out with friends on a Friday night, you've been out late drinking a lot of alcohol, you should not go for fast food. You're just going to get zero sleep. That's what you're saying?
Probably.
Okay, there you go. We'll have to keep that in mind. Oh, if people want to find out more about you or about what we were talking about, how can they do that?
So obviously you guys have a website, but I have a website too. So it's vincitsui.com, VINCCITSUI.com.
TSUI, one word.com. There you go. Thanks, Vincci. And we're going to have more.